The night I saw my husband delete her name from his phone, I realized the affair wasn't over. It was hidden, and I was the only one standing between him and the life he was stealing from me. My name is Claire Whitman, and this is how betrayal turned me into something colder and far more dangerous. I met Daniel Whitman when I was 26. He was composed, polished, the kind of man who never raised his voice but always got his way. We built our life in Austin, Texas. A modern home, shared bank accounts, long work hours, and the illusion of loyalty. I worked in corporate compliance. Daniel ran a private investment consulting firm. On paper, we were power partners. But power marriages rot quietly. It started with distance, then silence. Dinner conversations became transactions. His phone was always face down. Late nights became client emergencies. I didn't accuse. I observed. I learned early in my career that patterns don't lie. People do. And the pattern said I was being erased. I noticed unfamiliar perfume on his jacket. A smile that didn't belong to me. Passwords changing. Statements rerouted. The marriage wasn't collapsing loudly. It was being systematically hollowed out. I told myself I was paranoid. Until the morning I found the second phone. The phone was hidden inside his briefcase lining. Burn-free SIM. No lock. I didn't cry. I documented. Messages. Photos. Hotel confirmations. Wire transfers. Her name was Maya. Not a fling. A strategy. She wasn't just sleeping with my husband. She was advising him, coaching him, helping him move marital assets into shell accounts under his firm. I read every message. Once the divorce is final, she'll walk away with nothing. She trusts you. That's the advantage. That's when betrayal stopped being emotional and became a criminal. The moment that broke me wasn't the photos. It was realizing my intelligence, the trust one gave him, was being used as leverage against me. I sat on the bathroom floor, heart racing, body cold. Humiliation burns differently when it's planned. That night Daniel came home calm, kissed my forehead, asked about my day. I smiled back, because the moment I confronted him, I would lose my advantage. And I was done losing. I didn't sleep for 3 nights. I replayed our entire marriage like evidence footage. Every compromise. Every "you're overthinking." Every time I chose peace over instinct. The grief wasn't loud. It was paralyzing. But grief doesn't stay pure for long. It hardens. Daniel wasn't just cheating. He was engineering my financial erasure. And Maya wasn't a mistress. She was a co-conspirator. That's when the fear shifted. If I acted emotionally, I'd lose everything. If I stayed silent, I could control the outcome. I realized something chilling. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They thought compliance meant obedience. They had no idea compliance meant documentation. For days I lived inside a performance. I woke up beside him, poured his coffee, listened as he talked about our future with a voice that never cracked. And every word felt like a controlled burn inside my chest. I would stand in the shower, water running hot enough to sting, pressing my palm against the tile just to remind myself I was still real, still here, still alive. Because betrayal doesn't just hurt you, it rewrites you. I stopped recognizing the woman in the mirror. She smiled when she shouldn't. She nodded when she wanted to scream. She carried knowledge heavy enough to crush her, but she carried it quietly. The hardest part wasn't knowing he was with her. It was knowing he came home to me afterward, that he let me cook for him, that he slept beside me, that he watched me trust him, and used it as cover. Every time he touched my shoulder, my body went rigid. Not from fear, from restraint. I realized something terrifying about myself during those nights. I wasn't crying anymore. I was observing. His tone when he lied. His breathing when his phone buzzed. The subtle confidence he carried, because he believed I was already defeated. That confidence was his mistake. One night, I overheard him on the phone in the garage. He laughed softly and said, "She'll never see it coming." I sat at the kitchen table in the dark long after he hung up. My hands were shaking, but my mind was razor clear. That was the moment the marriage officially died. Not because he cheated. Not because he stole. But because he believed my silence meant ignorance. He believed love made me blind. What he never understood was this. I wasn't staying because I was weak. I was staying because I needed everything documented, every move traced, every lie preserved. And once I accepted that the woman I loved was gone forever, the strategist replaced her. If you want, I can next. I hired a forensic accountant quietly, then a family law attorney specializing in asset concealment cases. Every step was legal. Every move is documented. I didn't expose the affair. I let it continue. I tracked transfers, captured IP logs, recorded business filings that violated fiduciary duty. His firm was registered under our marital LLC, which meant his betrayal wasn't just personal. It was illegal. I forwarded nothing. I confronted no one. I waited. Because timing isn't patience. It's precision. The divorce filing hit Daniel on a Monday morning. At the same time, his firm accounts were frozen. Federal inquiry. Breach of trust. Asset diversion. Maya disappeared instantly. She wasn't loyal. She was opportunistic. Daniel called me 17 times. I answered once. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I said one sentence. You taught me how to be invisible. I just learned how to strike from there. The court ruling was final within months. I walked away from the house, the accounts, and full legal vindication. Daniel walked away with an investigation and a reputation that will follow him forever. I never saw him again. And that was the last day he ever had power over me.
If this story made you feel something, pain, anger, clarity, or strength, you're not alone. Stories like this are why Betrayal Nation exists. Please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and write a comment below. We read every single one, and your voice matters here. Your support truly helps this channel grow, so if you haven't already, subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Together, we're building a place where real stories are heard, truth is exposed, and justice finds its voice. This is Betrayal Nation. Thank you for being part of it.